for the color wheel, you're going to have to print off this sheet. It says, it might still say color wheel quiz on it. I can't remember. I do use this kind of as open book quiz in class, but we're going to work through this together. So I will start with the questions. You can put your name on here. The first question is name the 3 primary colors. So this is review, should be review from a long time ago. Our 3 primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And you should have done the first part of the study guide already where you answered these questions. What is so special about these 3 primary colors? Well, red, yellow, and blue make all the other colors on the color wheel. It's also true that you cannot mix other colors to make red, yellow, and blue. You have to start with those 3 colors. So if you are painting, if you don't want to go spend a whole bunch of money on paint, but you want a lot of options, you should buy red, yellow, and blue, and then black and white, and you can make all the colors that you could possibly want. The 3 secondary colors are orange, violet, and green. And how we make these secondary colors is we take 2 primary colors and mix them together for all of these. So orange is simply a combination of red and yellow. Red and yellow make orange. Red and blue make violet. And blue and yellow make green. What would happen if we mixed all 3 of the primary colors together? Well, then we would get brown, okay? But if you mix 2 of them, you get the secondaries. And then the intermediate colors. There are 6 of these, okay? And they are a combination of 1 primary and 1 secondary. There are 2 intermediates that start with the color red. They have hyphens. There are 2 that start with yellow. And there are 2 that start with blue. Okay, so we start with the 3 primary colors, and then we add the secondary colors, and you can't just add them willy-nilly. There are specifics. So there is red, orange, okay, red plus orange, and there is red, violet. Okay, there is no red, green, because red and green are actually opposites. And then there's yellow, green, and there's yellow, orange. There's blue, violet, and there's blue, green. And you'll see this more clearly once we make our color wheel. So if you go to page 138 in the book, you're going to see the color wheel, and you can use that. Before we start coloring our color wheel, we have to label it. It's really easy to make mistakes. So we're going to label these, and we're going to do them all in the same order. So at the very top of our color wheel, we're going to put yellow. We're going to start with the 3 primaries first. Where do we put the red and the blue? Well, we're going to put the red one on this side. So we're going to go yellow, and then we're going to skip 3. Skip 1, 2, 3, and this is where our red is going to go. Okay, and on the other side, we go from yellow and we skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is where the blue will go. And you'll see that there's 3 skips in between, so they're equally spaced on the color wheel. And then we use those 3 primary colors to make all the other colors. So if I mix red and yellow together, I get orange. So halfway in between yellow and red is orange. So I'm going to put an O here for orange. That's my first secondary color. Where's my second secondary color going to go? The violet. Well, that goes in between red and blue. So halfway in between red and blue, I have violet. Okay. And then green is the last one. It's in between yellow and blue because yellow and blue make green. All right. So now we have our primaries and our secondaries. There are 12 total spots on the color wheel. So we have 6 of them done. The other 6 of them are the intermediate colors. So we have red and orange. We call that red-orange. Okay. We have red and violet. We call that red-violet. we have yellow and orange. We call that yellow-orange. And it's important to call it yellow-orange and not orange-yellow. And the reason is we always list the primary color first, just like we did up here. That's just the way they're said. I didn't make up that rule. That's just how it is. So yellow and green put together, we call that yellow-green, because yellow is a primary color, so we wouldn't call that green-yellow. So if we have green and blue, we call that blue-green. And violet and blue, we call that blue-violet. All right, once we have this all labeled, we can start coloring it. But it's really, really important that we only use the primary colors. I require this in class, and I'm going to require it of you guys too. You can do all 12 of these with just these 3 colors. So make sure that your color says red. It should not say mahogany. It shouldn't say red-orange. Make sure it just says red. The yellow, as long as it looks pretty yellow, you should be good. It shouldn't have any orange in it. The blue, it doesn't matter as much. It should be blue though. It shouldn't be like blue-violet. But it could be a sky blue. That would be fine, as long as it's not blue-green, okay? So I have those 3. And then, got a couple of pages here. I'm going to start by coloring these in. And when we do the primary colors, you can go ahead and press like really hard right away. I've got my yellow, my blue, and then I'm going to do my red. And I just want to make sure, oops, that I'm going very neatly, but I can press really hard right away because I'm not blending these colors with anything, okay? Once I get those 3 done really neatly, I'm going to start to move on to the other colors. I have already blended most of mine on this page, okay? I will tell you that violet is the most challenging. So I would start with yellow oranges and the yellow greens. So I have yellow and green, or yellow and blue. Those are the only colors I'm allowed to use to make my yellow green, green and blue green. So when I start doing my yellow green, I could start with blue first. I could start with yellow first. It doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll start with blue. I'm going to go very, very lightly. I'm going to go in little circles. I don't want to scratch the paper at all. And if I build it up too dark too fast, I won't be able to blend my color. Okay, so I have a really, really light layer of the blue. And now I'm going to take my yellow and go over the top of that. Still lightly, going in little circles. And I may have to go over the color several times to get just what I'm looking for. If you look on page 138, you're going to get a pretty close representation of the color you're trying to get. So if you compare the color you're mixing to the one on page 138, it's going to be really helpful, okay? I might not be 100% happy with this color as it is. I know that I want it to be nice and light. Okay, might have to go back over. I don't want too much blue in there. So I might actually move on and do my green and my blue-green first and then go back and lighten this up as I see fit, as I need to do it. But you're going to do all 12. This takes a long time to get a really nice color wheel. I would say a minimum of a half an hour to get a really good solid color wheel where the colors are all different from each other and they make sense. So remember that the violets are the hardest and they're not going to show up just like the book. But that's okay. Just do the very best you can. We will be submitting these. You will be taking a picture of your finished color wheel. These are going to come in really handy for our work with color, which we're going to be doing for the rest of the quarter.